Hello and welcome, everybody. Tone, your audio is coming to my ears. I can hear myself. Really? Okay, we're good now. No, we're not. I can still hear myself. Yeah. So, hello everybody. We're back. And sorry for the audio issues. Let's start again. And we're live. Hello and welcome everybody to Around the Battleground. My name is LHS and I'm your host for today. Unfortunately, my co-host was unable to be here. Mr. Culture is dealing with some personal stuff, so send some positive vibes his way, and hopefully, there's no complications for the stuff he's dealing with. Yeah, so not gonna go into it too much, but he's doing some other stuff. We've got a lot to talk about today. We didn't have a show last week. I was at E3, so was not able to go live. I thought about bringing my mobile setup, but I was just too gosh darn busy at E3 having fun. And yes, Tone, I can still hear. I can't still hear you, but we got audio to the stream. So I was too busy at E3 anyway. Turned out, so I wouldn't have had time anyway. E3 was crazy. I might talk about that on like an IRL stream or something like that at a later date. But we're here and focus on tonight. I was able to watch most of the games and everything. I made sure I had kind of had time in the evenings too. I kind of went back and watched. I was following the games whenever I could. The good thing about going out to E3 is the time difference let me catch up on the early games because the show floor didn't open till 9 o'clock anyway or something like that. So by that time there'd been at least a set that had gone on, or I'd been able to watch at least part of a set and got an idea for it. And then I followed throughout the day and then watched at night, dedicated to that Smite stuff. So the last time we did a show, we were talking about where Baskin was going to go, and so I guess that's as good a place as any. We were predicting a lot of stuff, but what ended up happening is that very next day. So the last game that we like prophesized or like predicted before we went to um went to the last week break was Renegades versus Splice. And that's where Baskin ended up making his debut. I believe that was Monday. That was 9 days ago. Yep, 7 plus 2, that's 9. That's Monday. So we had speculated that it was going to be Baskin at some point in this next week because we didn't see him in the SML. And we had seen that a few times in the past with Scream and other people like that, where the player would go up and then not play in the SML, and that's how we knew that there was going to be a roster change. Baskin goes to Splice. This was a move that I don't think a lot of people expected. We had kind of floated it a little bit, but to me, it didn't make a lot of sense. I think Culture may have floated it, and that was his idea on top of the Alma stuff. So we got to give our shout outs to Culture, even though he's not here. We got to give him the props for calling both of those things. Talking about the meat and potatoes of it, though, feels really, really weird. I said it on the last show. When you get rid of Sino because of toxic team environment, right? He's signing toxic team environment. If Aurora's not going to be able to work with him too, there's something really wrong going on. And so Sino walks, they bring in Scream, they bring Maswal retires, and then they bring in Veninu from SSG, and there's like a lot of changes around that. It's a bit weird that then they turn around and then get rid of Divios as well when I don't know, it feels like weird timing, because if you let Sino walk because he's the problem with the toxicity, and then that Divios is hard to work with as well, it feels like you're choosing Sino over Divios, which I get. Divios and Aurora have the history together, right? But then to turn around and then you're kicking Divios, that feels really bad and awkward and mismanaged. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. And that just might be me, old school or anything like that. I don't know. It just felt like they could have done more to keep Sino. I feel like Sino was a good jungle. And not to say that Scream is a bad jungle. I think he's doing really well on the team, but I don't know. I feel like you have the championship squad. you make a change at solo if that was what you're gonna do anyway. I wonder how long that Baskin move had been in talks for before they actually did it. There's a lot of questions I have around there. So they add Baskin. Baskin as a short-term option too. That's even crazier to me. So they're kicking Divios no matter what. Divios is gone. And in the short term, only through MSI, only through the midseason invitational are they adding Baskin. As soon as the second split starts, they're going to have to find a new solo laner. That's crazy to me. I get trying to put the band-aid on it and try and still get your wins and go to MSI and maybe find, win MSI. There's like a prize pool there, right? I get that. But bigger picture has got to be Worlds. And don't you want to start working with whatever roster you think you're going to move forward to with Worlds? Whether that's going to be solo or troll, because he did sub in for them before, whether it's Mando Warrior, uh, whoever else they could get. I don't know. Maybe they bring in an SML guy. Who though? Dimmy? Maniac? Maybe? I don't think those two guys will come over. I think they would have already. I don't think they can move. Maybe they can. We've been surprised before. I don't believe that'll happen. I believe it'll be solo or troll or Mando. And so then you have to wait until the next phase, and then you've got to start from scratch with a new. So you're starting from scratch with Baskin. It's Baskin, admittedly, and he's the greatest player to ever play Smite, but it's still like a reset with him. And they looked a little shaky to start, and then the first set, Baskin went from looking rusty to having never missed a beat in the game, and it was really kind of crazy to watch. I can't believe how quickly he adapted to that level of play and that team. It was really wild to watch, and it kind of you understand why they picked up Baskin, even if it's short term. But again, if it's me and I'm building a team and I'm doing this, I've got to look at what's better for the team long term, and I'm more than likely going to move towards that new soul laner as quickly as I can. I don't know, that it just feels really weird how they did it. And I don't like it. But so let's actually talk about that game. It was Renegades versus Splice. A lot of questions about Renegades, whether they are the team that beat Dignitas in 5 games or if they're the team that gets 3-0'd by Pittsburgh Knights. They're looking a little rough. They're looking a lot more mortal than they previously had been. Funball is still playing pretty lights out, if I have to say. Like, he's still having amazing games, and it feels like his team is more letting him down again than anything. It feels really reminiscent of last year where Funball, I mean, every year for Funball, right at this point, where he's playing amazing, making the best of the situations, and then stuff around him is just really falling apart. Cherio has looked very different from when he first came in, and then I don't know, not even that he looks that different, really, right? I mean, he was missing plays, he wasn't able to really get it done. He had some moments, when he gets the Hun bats and stuff like that, he looks stronger. And, he's been playing more of the Neja too now, but it's still not there. It's not the Chero we expected, right? And then Nika, for me, has really cooled off. When he came in and they were playing Zig, he looked better than he's ever looked before. And now he's kind of regressed to the mean. He's looking like the regular Nika that we expected instead of the monster that we kind of saw. So that's a bit weird. And they put up a decent fight and they get a win. This goes down with a 3-1 for Splice, but Baskin just really took over this game. The Alma pick looked really strong. Cyclone and Aurora. Aurora gets to play Herc every game. You'd think you'd ban it out at a certain time, at a certain point, right? But no, he just gets to play. I feel like that's You can't do that. Renegades right now feel like they had a good start, and then now they really need to get a coach. I think that's one of the biggest things that they need to do moving forward is they're lacking the scouting, they're lacking the growth after those first sets that a coach would give them. Hello, Renegades, I'm available. And to me, if they just have any coach on this roster, they maybe don't drop as many games as they have since the dig game. I don't know. It's hard to really figure out what's going on there. I don't think we can say it's fatigue at this point. They had some time off. They're playing every day, sure, but there's plenty of time for them to like dissect and everything what's going on. Renegades not playing as strong against Splice as they could have been. I feel like they should have played this a lot closer. Splice, on the other hand, they're coming back swinging. They're having a better second half of the season than they started with. Veninu is doing pretty well in the mid roll. Scream and Baskin already had the synergy from Armada, so they're looking really nice. Baskin is a turning point for this team, and if he continues this level of play, they have a shot at MSI, I believe. Splice is going to be a really interesting team to watch from here. And then Renegades also, I mean, because they're still fighting for MSI. They have to find some wins. And luckily, they do have some easier teams on their schedule, or those mid level teams. They got to find the wins over them as well. Can they do it is a big question for me. So after that Renegades game, the next game 6 days ago was Trifecta Rival. We expected this to be a rival win beforehand, but right before the game, the night before, I believe, Trifecta announces a roster change. They troll everybody and make it seem like they're kicking Weekend to move Lasbra to mid, not Lasbra to mid, Lasbra to jungle, and then they pivot at the last second. Weekend still is the jungle, and they add Moswall mid. They kick Lasbra, add Moswall, and yeah, that's an interesting change for me. Moswall is not my favorite mid laner to begin with. I think he won Worlds, which is nothing to shake your head at, but um, I think he really got favored by the god pool of World's meta. He played a lot of Apwash, he played a lot of Zeus, things that you can zone really easily with, right? And then he had a really good team around him that would allow him to play in the back, and they peeled for him. They watched his back. Roar will die for you. He's one of the greatest supports a carry could ever ask for. And then he comes to this team, and that's not the team. He's going to work with Ionic, who is not that guy. Weaken, more aggressive. He's not worried about you. He's worried about making the play and getting the kill. And they got Ducky, and Ducky's just really unlucky in a lot of these fights. When they made the switch to Moswall, you can't say that he's going to do any worse than Lasbra. He's actually a mid laner, right? So I think there was a little hope that they would play this closer to Rival. They get 3-0'd, but it takes 36 minutes the first game for Rival to put Trifecta away. They look pretty good. And then games 2 and 3 were 21 minutes and 23 minutes. And, Rival was just like, no, we're putting you down. So, I mean, Arco goes 12-2 the last game. I mean, you can't even. Who do you fault in that? You mean you look at Weekend, he goes 8-5. Mazel goes 5-6. Wowie goes 1-3-10. This is a team that could put it together. I have a lot of faith in Trifecta. I think they can make something happen. Now, what that is, I don't know. Where they actually end up, I don't know. But Moswell being added to the mix, I think, is a good first step. I don't know. I don't know who on this roster also gets looked at. Does Wowie get looked at? We haven't really said Wowie's name a lot, right? He's yet to have a game defining set. A game defining performance. He's just there. Same thing with Ionic, I think, and then Ducky. Weekend has been playing out of his mind trying to carry this team. You got to give the man some help. But who do you add in ADC? Do you add Snoopy? Does Snoopy even want to play? Does he want to go to the SPL? Does he want to move? I don't know. Eonic, we've talked about this infinitely. Who do you get for support? What support is out there? Jigs? Do you get, genetics? Do you get Sybil? Who do you get? I don't know. There's not that much like talent and support at a high level right now. So it feels like Trifecta's a little boned at that level, at that role. They're gonna need to get help. Will they get it? I don't know. I don't think they can. Rival, I don't even know what to talk about. Panicat's still playing lights out in mid. Final K is probably the best solo laner in the game right now, over consistently across the games. Arkle is, still has the games he can pop off. Rival is just a very complete team, top to bottom, and they're very scary. I have them as my best team in the world right now. I think they surpass Dig at the moment with their play. But we haven't seen Dig play in a minute, so we don't know if that still holds true. All right, next game, same day, Splice versus Luminosity. Luminosity makes a rush change of their own. Mr. Lasbra, not kicked for long, gets picked up by Luminosity. And I have a lot of problems with this because jungle was not the problem for this team. Lasbra is not going to add wins to this team. It's not happening. Every win that they get with Lasbra is a win they could have got with Mollusk. Mollusk was playing amazing. He was the brightest star on the squad, hands down. He was not costing this team games. He was my favorite player on the squad. I wanted him to do better than this squad. Them kicking Mollusk is really a shame, and I hate it. I hate everything about it. The jungle was not the problem. Their problem, hands down, comes out of solo lane, I feel like, with Zalia, and support with Kiki. They have just not been playing at the level that they need to. You look at the slash line for this. Kiki 051, 173, 147. Not great. You look at Zalia 133, 121030. Just not being able to do anything, right? How do you look at this team and say, yep, jungle's the problem? I don't get it. It's not good. I don't like it. It's a bad look. Mollusk was a rising star. Now where does he go? Does he go play SML? What happens to Mollusk now? I don't know. I hope he gets picked up. He deserves to be picked up. I don't know. Luminosity is just, I don't like. I don't like the decision. I can't say it enough. I hate the decision. They get 3-0'd. Lasbra goes 2-3-0, 1-5-2, and then 5-7-3. So like by the last game, he's doing something at least. But before that, what is he doing? Nothing really. And they get done in 23, 22, 28. 28. The last game goes kind of long. It doesn't last 30 minutes, so they get still put away pretty soundly. But still, Splice on the roll, figuring it out. I think Cyclone right now looks stronger as an ADC than he did during the Worlds run. Cyclone is playing at a super high level. This Splice team is catching fire at all the right times. And I don't know what more they could do, what's going to change in their game. They're going to be really dangerous, I feel like, come this MSI, especially with Baskin. Baskin has like not missed a beat. 1-0-8, 4-0-8, 3-0-10. Man just doesn't die and is killing you all at the same time. Baskin is here and he's making a big impact in the SPL. Luminosity, they still got subpar play out of solo, out of support. Joshy and Oceans is still weird. I, th- I don't know. Luminosity needs better changes than this. I think there should definitely be more changes coming forward. Next up, next game of the day. Trifecta Splice. All right, let's see it. And it's a 22-minute game. It's an 18-minute game. It's a 21-minute game. Trifecta get absolutely annihilated. Baskin 2-0-5, 4-0-4, 4-1-10. Scream goes 4-2-8, 1-0-6, 4-1-9. Vin dies once the entire set, 4-1-5, 4-0-3, 0-9. Cyclone 7-0-1, 0-6, 1-0-9. Splice is on fire. They can't be stopped. Moswell does okay in the mid roll. Not enough to really get anything out of there. Eonic looking rough again. Weekend had a weak game. This is probably the weakest showing that Weekend's had to date. I don't know what happened. But if this is the new trifecta, that roster change didn't work. Lasbra was performing at a better level with this team. But you've also got to remember it's the new and improved Splice. Splice is on the war path, and nobody's really standing up to them. They're beating everybody down. I don't know what else to say here. We've covered Splice. We've covered Trifecta. Trifecta still at the bottom of the league. Splice trending upward. They're catching fire at the same time. The Ama pick for Baskin proving really good. He plays Neja solo this game and beats on everybody. Baskin playing whatever the heck he wants and thriving, having great success with every pick. Splice is really hard to game plan against. I don't know that you can beat them right now. They're just too good. Next up, United Renegades. We're quickly learning where this Renegades roster sits and where United sits. Right there in that middle tier. They're above SSG. They're above, Trifecta Luminosity. But where is it for SK United Renegades? Where are they at in that pile? United come out with a 3-2. I think this is really Renegades come back. They almost do the reverse sweep. But ultimately, last game, they just can't put it together. This is a very close game. Goes back and forth several times. This set very evenly matched. Imolido, first game goes 1-4, quiet game. Goes 3-5, quiet game. 0-3, quiet game. 1-1, quiet game. 3-3, quiet game. He's not the superstar, and everything funnels through him, which is good. That is not how United is going to win games. They need to focus across the board. I was worried when you add Emilito to this roster, this United squad. You take away something that makes them really good, which is they didn't have the superstar guy. They were all good to great players, right? Solidly right there, above average, not fantastic. Right there. A group of great role players, right? They're essentially the Toronto Raptors. Great players. And then you add Kawhi Leonard. You add Emilito to that. How are they going to do? Can they change their game up to play through him? And they have. Kind of. They don't play through him. They enable him to have good games, but they allow everyone else to get in on the action. I'm really glad to see United. Renegades, on the other hand, they're struggling. They put Dardes on the Knox finally. I called it. I knew we were going to see it. It was 3-2-9. Not the worst game, but not the best. They finally find wins. They put Dardes on her. W. They put on her on Kronos. W. Last game, they put him on Agni. L. What do you do? I don't know. Renegades, more and more, they need a coach. I think it's what they need. That is the one thing separating this team from the top of the pack or the top of the middle, even. They have to do better about learning. They have to do better about adapting and pull, just being able to deny the other team what they want to do. Feels like United is really operating a lot out of skill alone, and they've got really good players, make really good shot calls and everything, but United is able to do a little bit more. They've got a coach. They can make those adjustments mid-game. They have that other piece watching from the outside and can tell them what's going on. Bird's eye view. Really important right now in Smite. And I really think that if Renegades has that person on this squad, they find a win. I really do think that they beat United here. They come out and they get punched in the mouth by United, and they calm down, and then they play their own thing. They put Merlin on Funball. They put on her on Dardes. Nika gets Ama. Both games that they win, Nika's on Ama. They put Dardes on a carry instead of a traditional mage. And then the last game, they get Ama again, and it does well, and they almost put it together, and they don't. Maybe Dardes is the next Death Panther. You got to put him on a hunter. You got to put him on that carry to get maximum play out of him, and that's something you could do right now. That is a very efficient smite. But I don't know. We'll see. Renegade's kind of in free fall right now, not able to find a set win in a while. They got to make changes. They got to do something, or they're going to miss out on an MSI. That is not something I thought we'd be talking about when they came into the league. They came in on fire. Now it really cooled off to the point where they might not make it. It'll be interesting to watch as we move forward. That is a definite storyline to watch. Then the next game, 2 days ago, we get week 13, the final week. Renegades has to find their wins. They finally find a set win against Luminosity, of course. All sub 30-minute games. Lasbra doesn't do enough to carry the team. Kiki goes 1-6, 1-4, 0-6. Kiki being the focal point for the other team to kill, being out of position, whatever's happening. And we've all been there. If you've ever been a support main, it's hard to say that Kiki is the problem, right? Because Kiki's probably making the calls, and there's some sort of disconnect within the rest of the squad where all of a sudden Kiki's left high and dry and left to die. I've been there. Other support mains have been there before me. Other support mains will be there after. It's just part of the job. So at what point is Kiki just making calls that aren't being followed up on versus Kiki's just out of position, making bad calls? I don't know. It's really hard to figure out what exactly is going on with this team, why they haven't made any changes. We see Oceans go back to mid. That's another change here. Joshy back to ADC. I like this more. Joshy is an ADC. Oceans has been more of a mid laner. So going back to that, but it's also their first games back in that at the pro level again after weeks of playing in reverse roles. So do you expect a win off of that, especially against a Renegades roster? Are you going into this game hoping that Renegades are just in the complete free fall that I just said they were in? That's a really bold, thought to get into. But Renegades finally rebound, get the 3-0 over LG, and find the breathing room. Dardes 8-0 the first game on her, right? So we look at the wins. You got on her mid again. They play on her mid twice. I think Renegades starting to figure out who they are, starting to figure out what works for them. And I really do think that putting a carry in that mid role is going to work better for Dardas. I want to see them do that more going forward. If they do that, they might have a better chance at finding some W's. Who knows? Could be speaking out my ass. But I think that that is the identity that Renegades needs to adopt while moving forward. LG, on the other hand, just I think they made the right call, moving Joshy back to ADC and Oceans back to mid. I think that's a good call. Lasbra still hasn't done it yet. Still unable to put the wins together. There's still like that glimmer of hope and promise in the team, though. He could maybe put it together. I don't know. They've got Luminosity and Trifecta game coming up. We'll see who the winner of the bottom is. But for right now, Luminosity just not looking good. We got Splice United. Splice 3-0. Blast away the opposition. There is nothing that can keep the Splice team down. They went in 23 minutes. They went in 40 minutes. And then they went in 50 minutes. United, good team. But just not able to beat the juggernaut that is Splice. Baskin 2-0-8. 4-2-8. And then 6-2-12. Just playing amazingly. One moment, my dog is getting into trouble in the other room. I have to go yell at him real quick. All right, I'm back. He is quelled for now. Yeah, Splice really just heating up. Like I said, Cyclone's been playing the best ADC he's played ever. I feel like definitely better now than even when he made his Worlds run. He's being able to take every 1v1 he can. He's having amazing laning phases. Cyclone is a big part of why they're winning. Baskin, on the other hand, as well, big reason why they're winning. I think this Splice team is playing better Smite right now than they were last year. They won Worlds last year. That's kind of crazy. United playing well as well. You know, the first game they get smacked. They come back, make it a 40-minute game. They lose again. They probably could win one of these games. They just couldn't close it out, couldn't finish the job. I think that's the difference between this United squad. That's why they're in the middle of the pack instead of being at the top. Is they just got to work on those finishing in those long games. They got to be able to put it through. I don't know. I think over the course of the year, this United squad is going to continue to get better and better. I think they could be a dark horse to take games off of people. The MSI is going to be interesting because United's not a team you can just expect to roll over. They're going to make you work for it. Then the game everybody is waiting for. Luminosity. Trifecta. Neither team with a set win. Who is going to be the king of the bottom? Who is truly the worst team in the SPL? We finally have an answer. My power rankings up to this point have had Trifecta waffle between being, you know, the second worst team and the third worst team. Today they prove they are truly not the last place team. Luminosity is, however, the worst team in the SPL. They can only find one win in this set, which is better than getting 3-0'd, admittedly. But Trifecta just has more in the tank. Lasbra steps up and has a really good game too, and is the reason they win that game, which is good news for LG. There's life in that. But game number 3, Kiki. 110-16. Still dying a little too much. These games go 33 minutes. 24 minutes. So it goes 33, 33, 24, 53. The last game looking real rough. Iana goes 0, 8, and 12. Kiki and him have a death off. Who can die the most? Who blinks first? The biggest thing we learned out of this is that Trifecta is better than LG, and that LG is the worst team. Outside of that, these two teams are close in skill, which is not good for either one of them. Honestly, this probably should have been 3-0 from Trifecta. I think they are that much better than LG. But this shows that they're not. LG has life in them, and Trifecta still has a lot of growing to do. I think there is a lot to figure out on both sides still. They're getting an idea of what needs to happen. Again, Joshi and Oceans going back to their natural roles is a good thing. And they are having more success with that. I'm happy to see that. But it's still not enough. And I think there needs to be roster changes further. Zalia for Mando Warrior or Solo or Troll. Probably the first thing that I'd look at. Get a better soul laner on your squad who can really control that lane and make impactful rotations. What I want to see. It's just not there yet. Lasbra still getting reacquainted with jungle SPL. Not looking the hottest. He has one good game. The rest of them not so hot. Oceans and Joshi there as well. And then on the other side, but like criticizing LG, you got to criticize Trifecta as well. Eonic, last game 08 and 12. It was 01 and 8, 04 and 5. First game 1-1 and 12. It's good. It's a good support stat line. But I don't know. He's just. I expect more from him. I feel like he is one of the weaker guys on the squad. Ducky finally gets his win. Doesn't have to play against King Arthur anymore. It's a wonderful time to be alive. In scrims, in practice, in theory, Ducky's a great soul laner. Maybe now he'll find the confidence to actually bring that out on SPL day. I want to see it happen. They've got Moswell to kind of help them along now too. Wowie goes 4-0 and 8-0 in the last two games. Hello, Mr. Wowie. Welcome to the games. Where have you been? Where's the Wowie that gets, was it a quadro or a pentakill defending the base on as Kernanos? I think it was a soft penta. He killed all 5 people. He got the deicide. Like, where's that Wowie? I want that guy to come back. Trifecta needs him. Last game of the week, Renegades versus Rival. Renegades finally got their set win. I'm going to re-stabilize everything off of LG. Good times. Rival, looking dominant as ever. They come in and just rip Renegades apart. 24 minutes. 24 minutes. 37 minutes. Renegades get stuff going, maybe find the win. Can't put it together. Let's look at what they play, right? First game, 24 minutes. Zeus on Dart is on Zeus. Second game, 24-35. Dart is on the Agni. Game number 3, 37 minutes. Dart is on the On Her. Put Dart is on carries, please. You've looked your best. You've had the best showings when you do that. Let him do it. You just need to adopt that playstyle. You need to figure it out. Nika on the Worm goes 2-2 and 8, 0-1 and 10, 0-0 and 2. He holds down the lane against Final K. Final K plays the Zhongque for 3 straight games. 1-1-4, 3-0-4, 6-1-7. Doing work. And again, Renegade, just ban it. Get rid of the Zhongkui. Make him play something else. That pick's doing too much work against you. You had a coach, he'd tell you that. Give something else up. Make somebody else make the plays. Arkle popping off again. Goes 9-2 on the Euler. Rival playing amazing team smite. I think between them and Splice, we're gonna have some dangerous teams at MSI. Rival just hit a groove and haven't stopped moving since. You love to see it. You know, all these fine. Okay, Captain Twig, Polar Bear Mike, all these guys you just want to root for. Arkle and Panda Cat doing work. You know, this is a can-do attitude squad. Excited to see what they can do. They've secured, I think they have like either the top or second top spot for MSI. I think if Dig went out, they get the top spot because they've only dropped the one game. And Dignitas would have the tiebreaker, I believe. I'm not sure. So, Rival 3-0 Renegades. And that's that last game. So, we got to look ahead. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 matches left before MSI. And that's it. We've got Space Station Gaming Renegades. This will be interesting. I think this is a must-win situation for both teams if they want to have a hope of making MSI. And honestly, at this point, I don't know who is going to win. At the very beginning, I would have said it's going to be Renegades easy, but now I don't think I can say that. I don't think that Renegades has been performing that well. Space Station has had time to watch film. They've got Alpha Jackal. They've made roster changes. Is it going to be enough? I'm not saying I believe in SSG, but I'm saying I don't quite believe in Renegades right now. I think SSG could find this set win and start turning their season around. You know, Angie mid didn't look that bad. It didn't look amazing, but it didn't look terrible. You know, so it'll be really interesting to see how this really shakes out. I want to see SSG win, but I also want to see Renegades win, right? If I had to call this just based off of past performance, I think I can't even say that you got to give it to Renegades because they have faltered. Renegades should beat Space Station. They should. But will they? I don't know. No coach. End up against Alpha Jackal, who's been scouting them. But you got to beat them in game. And I think that's where Renegades is going to have the advantage. They're going to be able to outmaneuver them in game, out-secure them, out-team fight them. You know, Clown Fiesta if it gets bad. I think Renegades secures their spot at MSI by beating Space Station. I think that's what happens here. SSG still got some work to do. Maybe even see some roster changes. Maybe different mid. I don't know. They could gut everything. Make some big moves. This will be a very big determining point for this squad. They get the win here. I think the roster is mostly safe and intact. They lose here. They miss MSI. A big blow. They're going to have to make another change. Who knows what that'll be. Then we got Splice and Pittsburgh Knights. Ooh, boy, what a barn burner this'll be. Splice red hot, turning everything around. Got the king, the God King Baskin in the solo lane. Pittsburgh Knights turning their season around well. Starting off really struggling for a top team and then putting it together, finding their wins. Looking strong, making the adjustments they need to do. Having adapting play towards that solo lane, which makes Deathwalker comfortable, makes him able to make more plays. That being said, I think Splice 3-0 or 3-1 this. I think Splice is going to run Pittsburgh out the building. And I don't think it'll be that close. If I'm being honest, I think Cyclone's playing the best smite he's played as an ADC. I think Aurora is playing nuts. I think Baskin is playing at an ungodly level. And then Ven is holding everything down through the mid lane. Their 3v3 is going to beat your 3v3 in mid every time. I think Pittsburgh is going to be held down. I think Zeros is God pool. Zeros is going to have Morrigan, which is going to be the interesting part here. Because if you're Splice, do you ban Morrigan and let something else get through? I don't know. Do they pick the Yorm themselves? You ban away the Morrigan, pick the Yorm. That's targeting Zeros' God pool pretty quickly. Probably what I'm going to expect Splice to do. Pittsburgh Knights have got to answer on that. On paper, I think the Splice squad is just plain better than the Knights, having watched. But Knights haven't played in a minute. They've got a lot of tape on this Splice squad. Can they turn around? This will be a really interesting game to watch. Probably going to be the match of the week. There's a lot that we're going to find out. And it is, who's our number 3 team in the league? Is it Splice or is it Pittsburgh Knights? We're about to find out, boys. I think it's going to be Splice. Absolutely, I think it's going to be Splice. Next up, we've got Space Station Gaming and SK. That should be SK. I'm not even going to try to like front on that. I'm not going to say Space Station's going to have a tough fight. They could maybe win this. I think this is SK. I think SK has just looked great. It has been the better team all year. It's hard to really see Space Station fighting into this unless SK just don't show up, unless they, poop the bed. I don't see them really having a giant chance. Paul and Zap and Neil, all of those guys really have a better chance at earning you the victory than what SSG kind of has had up to bat. If they do win, if SSG do find this win, it's off the back of Barracuda. He has been playing lights out Smite this year, and it'll be really interesting to see. But I think this will probably be a 3-1, 3-0, maybe even from SK. I just don't see Space Station finding the dub here. Not in this current iteration, at least. And, last on our little list here, last game of the split, Dignitas and E United. Dignitas need to win this in order to remain top seed for MSI. E United need to play for their seeding position as well. I don't think Dignitas lose the set, but I don't know they 3-0 United. I could see it being a 3-1. I can see United getting a W out of this. Maybe Dig will win the first 2, United get an answer back, and then Dig finally finish off the series with 3-1. Very possible. On the other hand, it very well could be a 3-0 as well. Dignitas is the second 1A, 1B with Rivals, the best team in the league. They've been playing the best team Smite than anybody. Them, Splice, and Rival have really just played amazing team Smite, and it's a difference maker. It's what's that, and having a coach is what wins Smite right now. You can't just have a superstar player making superstar plays. You need the whole team really working with them. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this. If they play anything off the cuff, if they try anything out, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to go all out here. They are qualified for MSI. They are making it regardless. They don't really have to show anything off. I expect it to be a relatively clean game from Dig, relatively standard, safe picks. We're not going to see anything come out of this. If I'm United, I probably think the same thing. I don't think this game will be as explosive as it could be if there were more implications involved. United might break out a couple more things just to say they could beat Dig. Dig lost to Renegades last time out, and then Renegades lost to everybody, right? Did we see the cracks in the Dignitas armor? Can United capitalize on, is Dig kind of having a moment of stumble? And can they find a victory here? Maybe. They did just beat Renegades, who just beat, Dignitas at the start. I don't know. I don't think we'll see Dignitas lose here, but I'm not ruling it out of the realm of possibility. All right. So, with that being said, we've got the top 6 teams going to MSI. What are we predicting? So, we've got Dignitas, Rival, Splice, Pittsburgh Knights, SK, United, SSG, United. I think it's going to be United. I think SSG miss out. I don't know. It's going to be really close. I'm excited to watch this week and see who quals. There's a lot at stake, and it's been crazy the last few weeks with the roster changes. Everybody trying to put their best foot forward, and MSI will be interesting. More interesting will be if anybody else makes roster changes going into the second phase, because yes, MSI counts and there's a prize pool, but it's not Worlds, and you're not going to lose everything based off of, you know, not qualifying for MSI or losing MSI. Look for roster changes out of Luminosity further. Look for roster changes out of Trifecta still. Lots to do there. And then we still got to speculate on who from the SML or Combine or whoever gets picked up by Splice for the soloing. There's a lot going on there. We've also got the 2 top Combine teams getting pulled up into the SML. I believe we kind of have that figured out. I think for both NA and EU. I could be wrong. So that'll be add an interesting wrinkle for the next phase. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming around for Smite, around MSI. MSI is going to be great games. You got a lot of storylines. You got a lot of teams catching fire at the same time. Going into MSI, depending on how Splice does to finish off the split, I think they could take it all. My 3 favorites to win MSI right now are Dig, Rival, Splice. We'll see if PK can kind of break that top 3 as well. If they put down Splice, I don't think they will or can, but I'd love to be proven wrong. I would love to see that go to 5 games. I would love to see some close games out of this week. See SSG go to 5 games and win. That'd be pretty hype, but I don't know if that's something that we'll actively see. So I don't think I can really vamp anymore. Unfortunately, Culture's not here, so we can't really break down everything in detail as much as I would like. having his thoughts to kind of bounce off of would have been nice. If you guys have any questions, today we just uploaded our interview with Ataraxia, Nate, the ADC from Dignitas. You can do that. I'll put a link in the chat. Let me go grab that real quick. It's a really good one. Really liked it. Had a lot of fun with it. It's a bit out of date now, but still should be enjoyable. Go watch that. I'm working on trying to get some more interviews as well. Unfortunately, I recorded an interview with Funball and the audio didn't record, which is exactly what happened last time I did it too. So that wasn't great. And then we're going to be working towards getting some other guys in. We'll look at who qualifies for MSI and we'll try and get like one dude off of every team for MSI. That'd be really cool. I think we got a Millsy on the docket still. Really got to sit down and try and find time to talk to him. And yeah, just keep on the lookout. Hope you guys enjoy the new time, 6 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. Central, whatever that is, and other times. It's the end of the day and I can't be bothered to do math. But I hope you guys enjoy it, and hopefully we get more people involved, more eyes on everything. Hopefully Culture can join us next week, and we'll have some more supplemental content for you next week. Hope everybody enjoys your games, and we will see you next time around the Battleground. Goodbye, everybody.